Okay, just confirm the streaming is active. So we're good to go.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody to the December 11th, 2023 meeting of the Utopia board. And we will start off here today just as maybe we'll do some introductions. I know we've got a couple new faces at Utopia and then also on our board member representation. So I'm Adam Cowie. I'm the second vice chair. Wayne is moving on and busy with some other things, and then our Orem rep wasn't able to make it here today. So maybe Roger, you could just go around and introduce your staff, and or they can introduce themselves, and then we can just see who's online.
Yep. All right. I'm Roger Timmer. We let's see who we have from our team. We've got Nicole Cottle, the government affairs. We've got Jason Roberts is our CFO. Krista Evans is our Utopia secretary. Utopia,
I'm Utopia secretary.
And our HR manager. Jeff Irwin, our COO over operations. Kimberly McKinley, she's our chief marketing officer and deputy director. We have Jeff Starkey as general counsel. That's the Utopia team we have online here, and Laura Lewis is our financial advisor. She's not an employee, but she represents us as our financial advisor. So if you get any questions, that she can help with there. I think the rest on here are all city reps. Just bringing attention to Kobe from West Valley City as a new board member. Adam, you made mention of that. So Wayne is or West Valley City has appointed new board reps as Wayne is wanting to retire. I don't know why he'd want to do that. We have loved having him, but we'll talk a little more to that later. But that's we've got the new board members, so good to make introductions to our team and welcome Kobe.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
So what's your role there at West Valley?
So I'm the city engineer for West Valley.
Okay. Glad you're here. So maybe all the other cities could just do a quick introduction. Doug, do you want to start us off there? You're the top of my screen. I don't know if anybody else has that.
Sure, yeah, I'm Doug Hill. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer at Murray City.
Jason, let's go to you.
Jason Sant, I'm the city attorney for Payson City and the alternate for this group.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Matt, you want to jump in there?
Sure. I'm Matt Dahl. I'm the city manager for Midvale.
Looks like we've got Robin.
I'm Robin, and I'm off the council in Centerville.
Great, thank you, Robin. And Jeff? Maybe not. Alex, thanks for joining us. Alex Jensen. He may not listen to. We don't normally do this, just so everybody knows. And Mark with Tremonton.
Yeah, Mark Christensen. I'm the assistant city manager with Tremonton. I'm the alternate.
Thanks, Mark. Derek, are you there?
Yeah, Derek Quiller. Excuse me. I'm the city administrator for Brigham City.
Thanks, Derek. And then Aaron. Aaron Leach. Okay, we're going to move on.
Sorry, yeah, Aaron Leach. I'm with Utopia.
Oh, thanks, Aaron. I missed that. So, all right, everybody. I think we caught everybody. And we'll move on to our approval of minutes from August 14th, 2023. Does anybody have any comments on those minutes? If not, I will call for a motion. Do we need a roll call, Krista, on that, or just a regular motion?
You don't need a roll call vote on that.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from August 14th, 2023. This is Matt Dahl.
Okay, we have a second on that.
I'll second it. It's Derek.
Thanks, Derek. So first by Matt, a second by Derek. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. Looks like Wayne did join us here.
Sorry about that, guys. It's been quite a morning already, but yes, I am here finally.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. And you're right in time. Looks like that approved the minutes there. We will move on to item number 3, a resolution thanking Wayne Pyle for his service to Utopia. And I'm going to turn this over to Roger, but just before I do that, Wayne has been, I think Wayne and Alex have been the champions of Utopia and really carried us through a lot of difficult times and trials that we had at the beginning of the organization. And were it not for their leadership, I think this either wouldn't be here in the city's hands or it would be going a different direction for sure. And it's great that it's done a complete 180 and at the great status it is right now today. So I'll turn this over to Roger.
Yeah, so I don't know there's anything I could really share to be adequate to express the thanks that me and the team here have for Wayne and what he's done for the organization. But I'll do my best, I guess, and that's just, you know, to Adam's point, we've had some rough times. There's a few people that if we were to think of who really stepped up and supported this organization as it was early and struggled, and then at times when it nearly failed or had various attacks or problems over the years, you know, there's a few names that come to mind, and Wayne is one of those who's stepped up and you know, saved this organization on multiple accounts. Continue to provide direction and help. As executive director, I work a lot more closely with the chairs and demand a lot of their time compared to most of the board members. And so you know, it's been very important to me and our executive team and the whole organization here at Utopia to have Wayne, and we just appreciate all that he's done for us. Not just the importance of it, but the many years, the many meetings, the many conversations, the phone calls, emails, everything. Again, he's been so key to this organization, and we just appreciate that. And we're sad to lose him, but we're excited for him to be able to, you know, go into retirement and have some fun and whatever he's got planned for the future. We wish you the best there, Wayne. But you know, I feel like we should, you know, name a conference room or something after you. But these rooms aren't nice enough for that, so I don't know. But yeah, we just, again, we just really appreciate you, and this is something, you know, this investment in this project by the cities is something that isn't just benefiting them today, but truly we believe this will benefit these communities for generations. You know, we put fiber in the ground over 20 years ago when we started this stuff, and we continue to deploy that, and it's still good and valid, and the demand continues to go up, and it enables all these future technologies, and you know, it'll be here as a you know, legacy for generations. Just something you should be proud of, and that we should all be appreciative of. So, anyways, that's just me rambling, but yeah, thank you so much, Wayne.
Roger, would it be okay if I made a comment or two?
Yeah. Well, I'm not chairing the meeting, so.
Or Adam, yes, sorry.
Yes, I was actually going to turn the time back over to our official chair now that you're on here, but go ahead.
I think it's entirely appropriate. In fact, I see as we've got the agenda set up, you're kind of running the meeting anyway, Adam, and you're one of the first people I wanted to thank for being willing to put up with all the different, you know, moves and last second, hey, we need to do this or we need to do that, or I'm taking off for here, and you've been nothing but supportive in that across time, Adam. So I really appreciate that. Wanted to let you know that.
You bet.
And again, just like Roger said, there are a ton of people that come to mind that I would love to mention, but I won't make a long speech. I will say, just from a future consideration standpoint, if you look at the difficulties, the challenges that we've overcome, the success that we've had, the team that we have in place right now is hugely important to that. Roger and his team have worked miracles over this last decade or so that I've been on as the chair, and, you know, farther back from that, from the time that we as individual municipal members have been associated with the board. So I certainly would like to recognize them and encourage, of course, the board to continue to support them in their efforts. Hold them responsible, of course, and accountable. But as much as I may have had to do with at least keeping Utopia and the organization going and alive, the success is owed to them mainly. These people are people that are hugely dedicated, and almost it seemed, from a standpoint, city managers will get this. The city managers know it's hard to separate your work from your life as much as it should be in some ways. And we put our whole lives into these situations. And certainly I have seen the Utopia staff do that as well. I have great admiration for them for that. So thank you guys, Roger, Kim, Aaron, everybody that's there that has done so much over the years. And then I also lastly wanted to thank the board themselves. You guys that have been around for years and years have put yourselves on the line when we needed the support and the votes to move onward and forward, whether that was for debt financing or construction or adding partners in or whatever it was. So thank you for that, and certainly would encourage you to continue on in that path we have in the future. So that's it, Adam. That I think I'll cut it off before I start rambling for some indeterminate period of time here as well. I'll turn back to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Wayne. We appreciate you and your service and time. Let's see, moving on there. Why don't we go to item number 4, our 2024 board meeting schedule. Do we need the action on this, or is this just presentation?
We need to make a motion to accept the resolution for Wayne.
So on the resolution, sorry. All in favor of, let's jump back here. This is resolution UT 23-07. We need a motion and a second to approve that, right?
Adam, I'll make that motion, thanking Wayne for his years of service and chairing Utopia's board of directors for so many years.
And I will second that. Jeff Lamson from Orem.
Jeff, see, I shouldn't have been chairing this at all. We have our first and second chairs here today with us anyway, but I'm going to move forward. So we've got a first and second, thanking Wayne. All in favor of that?
Aye.
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 Awesome. Thank you again, Wayne. All right, now moving on to our 2024 board meeting schedule. Do we need a motion to approve this? It didn't look like it was an action item, but
yeah, I think something in our bylaws says we have to approve it. So
make a motion to approve. Okay.
So that was included in the packet there. Anybody have any comments on the dates that were proposed there for those meetings?
I'll share it.
There we go. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve that meeting schedule.
I move we approve the annual meeting schedule of the Utah Telecommunication Open Infrastructure Agency. Matt Dahl.
Thanks, Matt. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Derek has the second. All in favor of approving that 2024 meeting schedule?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Moving on, number 5, our Open and Public Meetings Act training. Jeff, are you going to run us through that?
Well, even better, the state's going to run you through it. This is right off of the state auditor site that qualifies each of you, any who are elected officials, planning commission members. This also probably takes care of it for you for the rest of the year, but either way, this is the shorter version of me rambling through our Open Meeting Act. If anybody has a question while we're going through it, feel free just to yell it out, and I'll stop it for a second answer, or we can just wait till the end, or we'll try to make enough noise at the end that those of you who have completely walked off into some new other item, we'll let you know when we're done with it. So we'll just roll with it now. I know.
deliberations are openly conducted. Before we continue, keep in mind that this video is an overview and exceptions may exist based on your entity type. We focus on local government, not state requirements. When in doubt, read the law and consult with your legal counsel. So what's considered an open and public meeting? It's when a public body quorum, also known as a simple majority, meets to discuss or act upon government business. It includes the meetings sometimes referred to as workshops or executive sessions. Regular meetings, public hearings, electronic meetings, and emergency meetings are all open and public meetings. Open and public meetings don't include chance or social meetings. A public hearing is a type of open and public meeting where citizens have a reasonable opportunity to speak. Public hearings happen when a government adopts a budget, imposes or increases taxes or fees, or transfers money from an enterprise fund. These meetings have extra notice and posting requirements and won't be addressed in this video. An electronic meeting is a type of open and public meeting that's convened electronically, such as via phone or the internet. Remember, the governing body must adopt a resolution, rule, or ordinance allowing and governing electronic meetings. UTOPIA adds additional requirements too. An emergency meeting may be held to discuss an urgent matter due to unforeseen circumstances. In order to hold the meeting, the best notice that's feasible is provided of the time, location, and topics to be considered. An attempt is made to contact all governing body members, and the governing body majority approves the meeting. An open and public meeting may be closed to discuss any of the following: a person's character, competence, or health, collective bargaining, litigation, certain real property transactions, including any form of a water right or water shares with specific restrictions, security personnel, devices, or systems deployment, investigations of criminal misconduct, and private or protected information for the Utah Procurement Code, including trade secrets. A closed meeting may be held only if a quorum is present and the meeting was properly noticed. 2/3 of the governing body present at the meeting need to vote yes to close a meeting. Quick math lesson: 2 divided by 3 equals 66.7%. Let's say your governing body has 5 members present at the meeting. If 3 out of 5 members vote yes, that equals 60%, which is not equal or greater than 66.7%, which means you're 1 member short and would need 4 out of 5 members to vote yes. During a closed meeting, a governing body can't interview someone applying to fill an elected position, discuss filling a midterm vacancy or temporary absence, discuss the character, competence, or health of a person whose name was submitted for consideration to fill a midterm vacancy or temporary absence, approve any ordinance, resolution, rule, regulation, contract, or appointment, or take a vote, unless it's a vote on a motion to end the closed portion of the meeting and return to an open meeting. When a governing body closes a meeting, the following must be publicly announced and entered into the minutes of the open meeting at which the closed meeting was approved. The reason or reasons for holding the closed meeting, the location where the closed meeting will be held, and the vote of each member of the governing body either for or against the motion to close the meeting. If a closed meeting is discussing a person's character, competence, or health, or security personnel, devices, or systems deployment, or several other exceptions, mostly related to state bodies or project entities, no recording or minutes are required. However, the presiding member needs to sign a sworn written statement stating such. If the closed meeting is held for any other reason, a recording must be made, which includes date, time, and place of the meeting, names of members present and absent, and names of all others, except where disclosure would infringe on the confidentiality necessary to fulfill the original purpose of closing the meeting. Regular open and public meetings require 24 hours notice. The public notice includes the meeting, agenda, date, time, and place. Public meeting agendas need to include reasonably specified topics to be considered, with each topic listed under a separate agenda item on the meeting agenda. The governing body may not consider a topic in an open meeting that wasn't on the agenda. If a new topic not on the agenda is raised by the public during an open meeting, the governing body may discuss the topic. However, final action may not be taken on the new topic during that meeting. Additionally, entities holding regular meetings scheduled in advance over the course of the year need to provide annual notice of the entire year's meeting schedule. The notice must include date, time, and place for each meeting. Notice is posted on the public body's website in a public location such as the location where the meeting will be held, and on Utah's public notice website in accordance with Utah Code 63G-30-102. Typically, posting on the public notice website is done by the records officer, recorder, or clerk. However, it's the governing body's responsibility to ensure notice is provided. State Archives has prepared a training manual and quick guide for owners and posters, as well as training videos that can be accessed at their website, archives.utah.gov. Written minutes and a recording are kept of all open meetings, with few exceptions. Written minutes include the date, time, and place of the meeting, the names of members present and absent, the substance of all matters, names of citizens providing comments, the substance of the comments provided, any information a body member requests be entered into the minutes or recording, and a record by individual member of each vote taken. A body with elected members must record each vote in list format by category for each action taken by a member, including yes votes, no votes, and absent members next to each member's name. A recording must be a complete and unedited record of all open portions of the meeting from beginning to end, and be labeled with the meeting date, time, and place. All or any part of an open meeting may be independently recorded by any person in attendance if the recording does not interfere with the conduct of the meeting. Pending minutes means written minutes of an open meeting in draft form subject to change before being approved by the public body that held the open meeting. Pending minutes must contain a clear indication, such as a draft or pending watermark, that the governing body hasn't yet approved the minutes, and that the minutes are subject to change until the public body approves them. Approved minutes means written minutes of an open meeting approved by the public body that held the open meeting. Entities must establish and implement procedures for the public body's approval of written minutes. Public meeting pending minutes, approved minutes, and recordings are public records under grammar. Any individual who publicly presents information relating to an item in the public body's meeting agenda must provide a copy of the information for inclusion in the public record. Make pending minutes available to the public within 30 days. Within 3 business days after approving written minutes of an open meeting, make approved minutes and any public materials available at the Utah Public Notice website, the entity's primary office, and the entity's website. Within 3 business days after holding an open meeting, make an audio recording of the open meeting available to the public for listening.
Take it back. Shut off. Hey, well, I appreciate everyone's attention to that. And I got to tell you, my appreciation for elected officials and applicable staff who need to attend the number of closed sessions and emergency meetings and extended zoning, land use planning meetings that you go to and attend. I've just grown to appreciate it so much being here at Utopia, since we rarely have those nuances. Anybody have any questions? So other than the fact that apparently security personnel also includes Roman gladiators, tells you how much, if you paid attention or not. Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, Jeff. If no other questions, we'll move on to item number 6, our financial update by Jason.
Thank you, Adam. I'm going to share my screen really quick to go over this. Okay, on the screen here is the financial update for Utopia Fiber. This is as of October 31st, what we're looking at here. If we look under operating revenue, the first 3 lines for residential transport, commercial transport, and bandwidth. Just want to bring up, we're very close on residential transport we're on track to meet our goal. Usually we do better than the projected number that's in here because we increase revenues month over month as the years goes on, and the projections that I'm showing here are just taking what we've received through October 31st and making that pro rata for the rest of the year. So we'll probably hit our budget for residential transport and beat it. It's what I'm expecting. Commercial's probably about in line. That one I'm a little more worried about. We may come in under on that. but our bandwidth fees are over. So overall revenue, I'm pretty sure we're gonna hit our revenue numbers, and I'm probably expecting us to beat our revenue numbers for the year.
Well, and that, you can almost make it if we don't even add any customers.
Yeah.
So that's, the idea of it grows every month is we probably blow this out pretty well by the end of the year. Like,
My concern with business revenue is most of our new business revenue customers do come in through UIA and not Utopia. And this is Utopia we're looking at, but overall, we'll beat the residential and the access fee numbers by more than if we do have any issue with the commercial. I think we're gonna beat those revenue numbers for the year. Operating expenses, we're showing that we're gonna come in under, some of it with payroll. We do have 2 payrolls, 2 months a year where we do 3 payrolls. That hasn't happened yet. That happens in November. So I expect payroll to come in about in line with what we're showing here. And the rest of the expenses to me are roughly in line with what we have budgeted. I did want to bring up this bottom section here. This is something new that I'm excited about. With some of our capital projects, we haven't necessarily been reporting the amount spent on the capital projects and the amount received for the capital projects every year. We do have a line for here for Bountiful showing that we've spent $2 million, roughly $2 million this year on that project so far. We don't show any revenue coming in. We're usually a month or 2 behind on revenue on the Bountiful project, because what we have to do is we have to prepare a map showing where all the assets are and get that map over to Bountiful and have them pay us. That being said, I do know that we have over $2 million of bills that should be paid by the end of November, is what I'm thinking, or by the end of December for sure, 2 million, probably more than that. So we have seen the money coming in for that, and that should show up on the next report. Any questions on the financials? If not.
Hey, Jason, I
Yeah.
did have one. On the commercial revenue side, on the UIA side, what is that looking at? You said we normally pick that up and are meeting or beating. How is it looking on the UIA side?
UIA's revenues, and Roger will go over sales here in a minute. UIA's revenues are fantastic. I'm thinking right now, I'm projecting us being about $1.3 million for the year over on business revenue. I think that's a conservative number that I put out there. So I feel very comfortable saying we're going to be 1.3 million. We had some issues with how we budgeted for our lease fees coming in on UIA. And I think they're going to come in a little bit under what's budget, but I'm projecting that we're going to be 700,000 over budget on revenue on the UIA side. And I think I'm being very conservative with that. That's with me saying, if we do a fourth of the sales per month for November through June that we've done compared to June through October, we'll hit the numbers I just said. And all we have to do is a quarter of what I've said. And I think we'll beat the quarter. So I've been very conservative on those numbers.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wayne, for your question. Any other questions for Jason on the financial update?
I do have the revenue charts here. They're in your
packet. Keep going.
They continue to increase. There have been a couple dips, if you look especially on the UIA side. Last month, we've had 2 customer issues where we started billing too early. And we had to take off a couple months of their payments, but they will be starting in future months to come through. Additionally, there was one billing error where we sold some customers to Bountiful, but we're showing them for a couple months and didn't get them taken off until November, and these are November numbers here. But I'm expecting a $40,000 monthly increase in December to come through right off the bat before any additional sales are made. So I'm expecting December to be a very good month at UIA at least. Utopia, if we look at the Utopia line down here, the general increase continues to go up. We should see an accelerate. That's mostly due to Idaho Falls, but we should see an acceleration once Bountiful starts coming on. We're expecting Bountiful to start coming on soon. And then we have, this is a UIA slide, but it's of interest to Utopia. Basically, the big deal to know here, this is our revenue, the top line. Down below, we see the total of all bond payments made. we just issued a bond in UIA in October. This is where the monthly payment would be for the bond compared to the monthly revenue. And as we see, we've been widening that gap over time, and we expect this last bond to help us widen that gap and help pay back, help Utopia make a larger share of the payment of the payment that's happening for the bonds right now from the cities.
Awesome. Any other questions for Jason? Okay, if not, thank you, Jason. And we will move on to item number 7, our Utopia Network update by Roger.
All right, let me share my screen here. So right after Jason's financial slides and revenue slides, we have our subscriber report that kicks in here. Should all have a copy of this. Just kind of a couple highlights. We just passed 61,000 subscribers beginning of the month. This last month was a little bit less. In November, we lose some of the month because of the holiday. But the 3 months before that are the best 3 months we've ever had in our history. We netted over 1,000 new subscribers across all of our systems each of those months. And so here we are, 61,000. If you look at the trend from this year, we're trending really close to a 10,000 subscriber net growth across all systems in a year. So we've been at this for quite a while. And here we are, adding 10,000 subscribers in a year. It's an amazing growth. That all has financial implications to it. I was really excited, to see, how does that revenue chart look to represent these last couple of months? We keep having these, one-time billing things or whatever that have kind of made the chart not look as good, but the overall trend is still incredibly strong. And then next month, as that gets charted out, we'll see some of those results continue to push those revenue numbers up. As we grow, as we go and look at a city, per city thing, you say, well, are we growing so much just because we're building more? We continue to add customers everywhere in all of our cities. Take rates continue to grow. The only exceptions to that are usually when a new area is developed. So as we constantly are importing records from counties, and so parcels get recorded, and sometimes there's nothing even built on those parcels yet, and there's some lag. So if there's ever a concern, you say, Morgan's our highest take rate, and it dropped over the last couple of months. Well, it's pretty quick to jump down to the chart for whichever city we happen to be looking at and see that we continue to add subscribers in Morgan. They just have kind of created some new parcels, and it was actually an interesting thing. We were talking to the DSL provider there, and they actually told us how many customers they have. This was CenturyLink, thinking there couldn't be a lot if we have this really, really high take rate there. And they had just kind of mentioned that they were at 3%, I think. And so obviously we're doing really, really well in these cities, and across the board, we continue to see that increase of customers. So don't get too concerned if you ever see a take rate number go down. It usually just catches up later when those parcels get developed and homes, the actual potential customers show up on those properties. It's just a little bit of an anomaly with how we do our numbers. So things continue to go very well. Our reputation is good, reliability. I think we've benefited especially over the last year because of increasing outages with other companies, especially the cable companies. We don't know why, we're not involved in that, but we do see it happening. And so we keep an eye on that. We also keep an eye on new competitive offerings. So we get asked all the time, what about Starlink? Is it having any impact on you guys? And it's like, no, they're $110 for far less service. So we don't lose customers to them. We've seen Verizon and others come in with a home internet service using a higher frequency than you use for cell phones, but they use the cell towers to do a fixed wireless home offering. We've seen them market that aggressively in our areas, but we don't see any negative impact to our subscriber numbers. So people recognize the value of fiber and reliability. So we've seen some, what would be perceived as potential market threats, but the reality is it's more popular now than it ever has been. We continue to add customers and take from everything else out there. Now, it's not our intention to take from, we build this infrastructure, and any one of these companies could choose to use our network rather than compete with the infrastructure. Our model continues to prove itself out and have success. On that note of other options and competitors and things like that, there's, those companies are a little bit upset with us who may have cable or DSL. We've seen a new campaign, and you've probably seen this too. We have radio ads and TV ads that are being pushed recently and increasingly so. These are coming from a group called, they have their website that's like No Gov Internet, but it's being run by a group called Domestic Policy Caucus, which is just another one of these dark money organizations that will take your money and run a campaign in your behalf and keep their donors anonymous. And so we can't tie exactly, it's pretty obvious where that might be funded from, but they isolate that pretty well. They have hired Greg Hughes as a spokesperson for the effort here. So he's, to give it a local face, even though it's not actually being based out of here. It's, it's just an attack on this. And we say, well, what in the world? Why now? And why, what's the purpose of this? And it's a little bit of strange timing because, as you all know, we're not really doing anything that would require a big vote or legislation or anything like that. We're just having really good success. So really, we feel like the reason for this is that this is them just finding another avenue to maybe prevent additional cities from joining Utopia or our growth and expansion. But within what we have today, we're having enormous success, and they're feeling the sting of that. Again, we've always offered our fiber up to anyone who wants to use that, like Comcast or CenturyLink would be welcome to be providers on the network. We have a vetting process still, but they, have every right to come on and bid on becoming a provider on the network as anyone else. But it's their methodology has always been that they don't like competition rather than trying to compete. So this is a result of our success. It's really the only reason I think that they have behind their campaign. We are increasingly being used as an example across the country. Our name is used all the time in conversations about cities and government involvement in broadband. It didn't used to be. I mean, we used to be, here's maybe a reason not to get into this space because there's risk. But lately, people have looked at our recent successes and we're brought up all the time. So I think it's related to that. They want to shut down that message, make people believe that government internet is bad, right? And at the same time, we're like, this isn't the federal government, this isn't the state government even. I mean, this is the government at the most trusted level, which is your local government in your cities. Just like they put in roads and parks and other critical services, we put in fiber infrastructure, and it's managed and controlled at the local level, which is you guys here in this group. And we've never seen as much support before, both from cities and from our residents. The local Utah providers love us, obviously. It's only those bigger national companies that dislike us. So it's even very popular among private internet providers, right? So long as you exclude the big monopoly guys. So yeah, everything's good. We're not like dismissing the ad campaign like it's nothing. We see them, and I'm constantly hearing from people. I had several people at church yesterday coming up to me like, you guys okay? I saw these ads, and I'm like, no, actually things have never been better at Utopia. This is the best year we've had, and we continue to grow. So, we have friends in the industry. We probably see some articles and publications and statements and things like that, kind of countering the messaging that's out there. And depending on what happens, we can pivot and maneuver around that, see what's necessary. But for the time being, the ad campaign doesn't seem to be having any effect, or do we think it will? But we're not dismissing it. We're keeping an eye on it, like I said. Any questions about that? How many of you have seen the ads? I'm just kind of curious. Maybe everybody.
I haven't seen the ad, but just this morning, actually, our city attorney mentioned that during a sporting event, an ad ran and this week and asked me about it. And so I was curious if you've heard any buzz about legislation that may be targeted towards this. I mean, the ad says, call your legislators and complain about it. And so that's what makes me wonder if there's something that we should be expecting out of this next legislative session. But
the only thing I'm aware of, and maybe Nicole, if you want to chime in, is there's some legislation of limiting city fees and what they're allowed to charge as a fee, and they've listed broadband as something that they don't want cities to be able to institute a fee for. And we haven't really we haven't wanted to do a mandatory fee on everyone for quite some time, or thought of using that tool. So generally, we don't like anyone taking away rights of cities, but that legislation doesn't appear that it would harm us in the way that we currently operate. So I don't think the campaign's meant to help or be involved in that legislation. Is there anything else, Nicole, that you think of that?
No, that's right, Roger. And we've kept a close eye on that as well. There's that one bill, and just in proactively asking whether or not this is targeted at the state legislature, the answer back is no, it's not. They may have a longer term idea in mind as it relates to coming into a session next year. But as of this year, the conversations that I've had is that there is no legislation related to this this year at the state level. So Roger's right. The only bill out there that really has anything to do with us is this citywide fee bill that's tied to the transportation fee discussion. And the current draft on that is that the language would say even cities can do a fee under certain circumstances. What they can't do is an opt-out only type of a fee. That's the discussion that's happening right now with regards to that situation. And so we're monitoring that closely as well as that moves through the process. But as Roger mentioned, that doesn't have an impact on the way that Utopia does business. It's the broader way that some other cities might consider funding broadband as they go along. So that's what I know.
Almost sounds like they would prohibit kind of that Macquarie model years ago where they wanted to impose a fee citywide. Okay, which we are not doing, to be clear. So all right, any other questions or comments for Roger? If not, Roger, anything else that you have?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just cranking along and things are good.
Okay, it's great. Thank you, everybody at Utopia, for what you do. And it's exciting to see the change that's happened over the years. And Wayne, thank you again for your efforts and service. And if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll say motion to adjourn. Oh, you got it, Wayne, and I'll second it.
I was gonna say Wayne better do that one last try there. So we had I'm gonna say that was that a first by Wayne?
Yes.
All right. And a second by Derek. Thank you, Derek. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Adam.